everyone. Welcome to LOCKBEARD Phenomena number 69, Slaying Dragons. It's November 5th, 2022, 6 p.m. our normal time for LOCKBEARD Phenomena. Remember the 5th of November, right? Ocean Pond is here. Helitos Zatotos. Welcome. Mr. Lee's here. Bat Mom, Angel. Welcome. Well, thank you, Mr. Lee. Would like to be able to do to improve it more. I haven't got one done for the end, the outro. But hopefully we can get there. Hopefully the channel. Well, the two channels are going to have to function as a team, because I really need to keep all the I really need to keep the shorts for the most part on this channel, and then keep primarily do the live streams of LOCKBEARD Phenomena and Random Live over on the primary LOCKBEARD channel, along with the uploads, having to do with, going into the woods or the bees or whatever random stuff I'm doing when I'm out with my phone. Because that's all I got the film with is my phone. And I guess if, again, I'm trying my best to grow this channel as fast as I can to get monetized, because I can't do much until I get monetized. It's just got to happen, because until then I'm hemorrhaging money, and as much time is needed to do stuff. Like if I'm going to go and like travel to locations and investigate certain things and film it and put it on the channel, and it's just, I can't do that while working a regular 9-to-5 job, right? It's just not gonna, weekend warriors, they have their part in it, but you can't do a proper investigate. I mean, if everyone thinks that we can just do that kind of thing for, Bigfoot and ghost and even UFOs and get anywhere, they're sadly mistaken. We need, dozens, if not hundreds, of people that are full-time investigators of the phenomena, and that's just, that requires, the only way I can see to make it happen, because the donors aren't just, going to give, not to me anyway, because they don't really know for sure what my capabilities are and whatnot. They'll go give to Rick Dyer. I mean, Rick Dyer, he's pulled off some bullshit and he's getting tons of money. I just don't get it. There's people that will give money to someone who will spout any kind of bullshit you want to hear, but there's not people who will give the funding to someone who says, look, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what the fuck is real, what the fuck the truth is. I'm not going to, pull some bullshit and sign a TV show deal the Discovery Channel or some shit, like these fake people like High Check, who claim that they're really investigating shit, but they're not. Look, the dude's a multi-millionaire. All he cares about is making his goddamn millions. He doesn't care about finding shit. I will not accept that someone that has millions of dollars at his disposal can't figure out a way to prove the existence of Bigfoot. I will not accept that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's a flesh and blood people out there. They can be observed somehow. If you have millions of dollars to work with, god damn it, you can film them. You can find evidence. There's just bullshit. I'm not buying it. The only way he can get by with saying that he hasn't found it, the only excuse he can say for why he hasn't found it is that it don't exist. That's the only excuse that he could possibly give that I'm going to find acceptable. So, Miss Lee says I have headphones on. Fireworks too much tonight. Remember the 5th of November. Miss Lee says you got 650 on this channel now. Yeah. Still need to get to. Got to get to 1,000. They're coming, but it's just too slow. Like I need funding. Months ago, really. A long time ago. It isn't like, again, it's just hemorrhaging money. There's been a few PayPal donations, but it doesn't remotely cover my expenses. And also, so for monetization, you got to well, one, I can't monetize the regular Lockbeard channel for quite some time. I don't know. I know one of the strikes comes off in December, and then the other one, I don't know when it comes off. So it's gonna be a while. You can't monetize with active community guideline strikes. This channel doesn't have any, so I'm good there. So then it's just a matter of getting the watch hours up. So to 4,000. Right now I'm at 736, according to the monetization page here. So I don't know. Bat Mom says a little bit. The weather's been, dry as hell, and then it rains, and then it's down in the 40s, and then it's fucking 80s again. And it's all over the place. And I haven't been eating appropriately either. So oh, he called her Batman. There's Joe. He says, who is Lockbeard offending today? Well, I'm going to offend probably some young earthers. I don't necessarily need or want to offend them, but yes, Mr. Lee, I did watch Pat's show earlier. He was talking about his wood knock experiences and camping and Ernie, nearby Ernie's cabin, I guess, and with a lady friend, and what was it, like 30 minutes long, I think it was. So folks might want to go check that out. Jen says, hello to everybody. Welcome, Jen. Squatching Cowboys here. Also, Cowboy dropped. Wasn't that your last part of that series? Last night or yesterday. Welcome to the chat, Squatching Cowboy. So yeah, Mr. Lee, we're trying to trying to get this ball rolling. Because I seriously don't want to be sitting in Oklahoma for the winter when I should be heading to well, ideally, a warmer area to uh, to investigate a known Sasquatch area, known orb areas, and maybe look into some other things, little people. Um, I'm not driven to go look for no goddamn dog man, because that seems like the least likely of all those things mentioned to be able to observe. But it would be really, really cool to be able to go overseas to some places and look, because you get sightings of these little people over in the Southeast Asia islands down there, and in the region where Flores is, the island of Flores, which is where they found the remains of Homo floresiensis people, the people that are about 3.5 feet tall. They call them hobbits. That's why people give things stupid names, just because they're short. Homo floresiensis, which I say is definitely not. I don't know if I've ever it would take too long to thoroughly explain my reasoning behind what I'm about to say. I know I've mentioned some of it. That Homo floresiensis was almost certainly Homo sapiens subspecies floresiensis, or a race of small people that I think most likely were blended to become the Southeast Asians you see today, many of which are 4.5 feet tall people, grown men, sometimes a little shorter. Well, 3.5 feet tall, 4.5 feet tall is halfway between that 3.5 feet and someone that's just 5'6", and most of us are a little taller. So I don't know how this, of course, this isn't a great leap of logic here. Homo floresiensis probably got blended with the other peoples, the taller, normal, I hate to call them normal, the other race that we are, basically, to form the Southeast Asian peoples down there that are somewhere in the neighborhood of 4.5 feet tall. They're very short people. I've worked with some of them. They're really short people. They're not Homo floresiensis short, but they're about halfway between that and me. Actually, a little closer than that in some cases. So come on, anthropologists, catch up to Lockbeard, please, for fuck's sake. Stop calling Homo neanderthalensis by that name. It is Homo sapiens subspecies neanderthalensis. That is flat out, completely just a fact at this point. It's proven. All of us people of Northern European descent have, and Asians too have a smaller amount, but mainly the people in Europe. Why? Because Neanderthals got blended into us. That's only possible if they're the same species. So the correct nomenclature for Neanderthals is Homo sapiens subspecies Neanderthalensis. I think I've only seen it referred to that somewhere in the literature like once. And I can't even remember where I saw that at. And that's been really, really recent, like within the last year. So some guy who actually has the goddamn degree behind his name is probably going to write a big paper. He saw my shit. He's going to write a big paper. He's going to take full credit, and I'm not going to get any credit for it, even though I'm probably twice the anthropologist that this fuck was. Because because I don't know what the hell their problem is. They can't seem to keep up. The Denisovans, same thing. Those were Homo sapiens. You got to name this shit correctly. There's people that want to play games with how you name these things. You got to have a name for what the species is. What can I breed with? Can I breed with that thing right there? Well, that means it's the same species as me. So people want to change the name. Oh, well, species doesn't have to be that. It can be this over here. I'm like, well, if you're going to make species where it means this thing different than what I'm talking about, which is a population of individuals that can breed with each other normally. I'm not talking lions and tigers that form a liger or a tigon. Talking normal, reproduction. And usually it's some jack off online, that wants to play games with words and just they're just trying to troll. Really, I don't got time for goddamn troll bullshit. I want answers to some goddamn questions, and there's this whole mess of morons out here that are standing in the way of those answers, and I'm sick of it. Goddamn sick of it. Let me see if I can catch up on some chat. Sanders here, welcome. Mr. Lee says he's the biggest knucklehead in England. I'm sure there's some bigger knuckleheads in England, Mr. Lee. Isn't there like a prince that just king? Just as everything was created only a few years ago, you can't prove it wasn't. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, you can. Never mind. Jen says, did you have any of that tornado weather, Lockbeard? There was some wind. I don't think we had an actual, warning or anything here. The wind was buffeting the van, though. It were doing. Where is warmer right now in America? California, Texas is immediately south from me. Florida is probably that's where I'm kind of thinking. Like if I had the funding, then I would probably head to. Well, probably because I wouldn't want to go too far from Oklahoma until after Christmas. I still need to visit family, so like maybe go to some areas in Louisiana that have some reasonable weather to deal with. Until Christmas, and come back to Oklahoma for Christmas, and then head to Florida. And because it's just easier to deal with the weather. If one were to go to Oregon, for example, well, Oregon's not too bad even in the winter compared to some of the more interior states, but I don't know. It just depends. Like I kind of have this vision that kind of go places at the appropriate time, right? You don't want to go to freaking Minnesota in January. It's just not a good idea. Adds a new level of danger to things, and Joe's rolling his eyes. Anybody know Brandy's address? No, I know she's in the Northeast, New Jersey, I believe. Squatching Cowboy says twice already, Napoleon. Joe says island dwarfism happens, and that could be what happened to Floresiensis, even if they were a subspecies of Homo erectus, which could be the case. Well, that's what mainstream anthropologists are thinking, a subspecies of Homo erectus. But my problem with that is I don't think that I don't like the fact that they are assuming Homo erectus and Homo ergaster, which come on, they're the same. for one, they're the same. I mean, just because one's in Africa and one's outside, whatever. The fact is that humans were way too mobile by that point to be able to have a speciation event. The mixing was occurring too much. In order for a divergence to occur, you need to have genetic isolation somehow. Usually it's geographically induced, right? But other things could possibly happen to cause it. But at any rate, there was no geographic isolation anymore at the point when you had what they're calling Homo erectus and Homo ergaster, right? They were way too mobile, so the gene flow was too much. If you got gene flow, you're not going to have a separation into two separate species. It's just not going to happen. And that's why I say that even though at that point our species was very different than what it is today, because the entire species has changed over time, that those two species were still the same species at that time. So they should call them, even if they don't want to, even if they're not willing to meet me, come to where I'm at and say, look, that's the earlier, one of the early versions of Homo sapiens. It was before we got as smart as we are today, but it was an early version of Homo sapiens. Um, you know, this is this would be very difficult because one, we don't have one alive, right, to determine, okay, because where do you draw the line? Because it gradually changed over time. So here we have a separation of Homo erectus and Homo sapiens throughout time. This is a direct ancestor, though. Somewhere along our line, you could say that there we don't know this though. You could say that there was enough genetic differentiation from us compared to the ancestor that we could not breed with that ancestor if one were to pop up for some reason today. He jumped in a time machine, come to the future, and we tried to breed with it, and then it may not work, right? So, you know, we got to get more advanced with our science is what we need to do, because we can't, there's no way we could freaking know that, right? So I can't protest it too much. I can't protest it too much because I can't say for sure that a Homo sapiens of today could successfully and normally breed with a Homo ergaster of the past. To say that it fits with the definition of being the same species as we are today. This is because this is not the same, because when we're dealing with something on the same time period, we can definitely see there's such a gradual change. Like we would have a point. I don't have any way to really illustrate this, but say we went back halfway and we found an ancestor that was able to breed with Homo sapien of today, um, to the same extent that a lion and tiger can reproduce, right? They can reproduce, but not normally, right? It's not a properly viable offspring. It doesn't turn out with roughly a rough blend of the two exactly. It does to the most for most of the traits, but it ends up being way bigger than the mother and the father, because there's a problem there. It can't breed normally, and then you have the sterility and stuff like that. So I would call that. I would think we should designate that as not being able to breed normally. So lions and tigers are at the very cusp of speciation, or just past it. Yeah, it's such a gradual thing. It's hard to like put a hard line on it, right? Um, but why am I going on this fucking tangent? I don't know. Homo erectus, though. Um, it was us. I mean, it's our direct ancestor, Homo erectus, Homo ergaster, um, Homo floresiensis. That they may have been a group that got isolated on the island, did not wasn't isolated long enough, though. Wasn't isolated long enough to differentiate into a separate species, but it did experience some island dwarfism. Of course, in some creatures it had the opposite effect occurs. Island giganticism. So you had things like the longest python on the planet. The reticulated python comes from there. So now I'm picturing in my head, okay, we got an area with some tiny little humans, some gigantic pythons, there's some Komodo dragons in the areas. Um, Humans were on the menu, man. And but then they were re-blended into the rest of humanity as the rest of us. Some of them showed up, and well, you know how humans are, they like to take liberties. Ocean Pond says, makes sense that isolation on a distant island lead to divergence and singularity. I would say that it would have eventually been a speciation, but I don't think that's what happened. I don't think that it got that far. Um, and so by blending back in with humanity, they lost the traits of the remnant traits of Homo erectus very, very quickly. And so now either mainstream anthropologists are not haven't been able to figure this out yet, or some of them have figured it out and they're afraid to say anything because PC bullshit or whatever, or for whatever reason the government may want to hide some shit. I don't know. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, what about dwarf people? I met a dwarf called Drac. He was Serbian. Nice fellow. He didn't mind me calling him Dracula after a few pints. Batman says it's freezing here. It's not much warmer here right now, Lockbeard. In Oklahoma? Yeah. What is it? I mean, what is it now? It's in the 60s, I think, at the moment. Let me check. It's 58. 58. Get down in the 40s tonight. Prairie Fire says 30 where you're at. Judy Wheeler's here. Welcome to Prairie Fire, Judy Wheeler. I just tuned in to agree with you. Tired and done with the powers that are in control of humanity. Man, I'm telling you. And, you know, yeah, today it was like, you know, just anxiety's at a high, you know. So, but I mean, you know, there's some good signs, you know. I think, you know, things are turning around. People have gotten fed up with the far left stuff. You know, all the movies and TV shows are failing. The corporations are starting to figure out that they need to start making some money instead of trying to preach whatever bullshit they want to preach to us, and stop telling us that we suck ass because we won't watch their bullshit, because we're not interested in watching that bullshit. You know, we didn't want to watch that shit. Um, Twitter's being bought by Elon, which whatever, you know, that's fixing Twitter, I think. You know, I saw a tweet from Ron Perlman, and he's talking about, you know, calling talking shit to Elon about trying to push his idea on everybody. I'm like, dude, that's literally what Twitter has been up until this point. The left has been bullying and just and then canceling people, right, and shutting down their accounts. Like they have become a cesspool of far left bullshit. I fucking left Twitter years ago. I'm like, I can't deal with this bullshit. I just want to fucking, they can say their goddamn opinion. Why can't I say mine? And Ron Perlman's on here saying, oh, you want people to believe? No, all Elon's doing is making it where everybody can talk equally on goddamn Twitter. Ron Perlman, you can kiss my goddamn ass with that fucking bullshit. You're projecting, you dipshit fuck. Son of a bitch. What the fuck is wrong with Ron Perlman that he don't see? That he's saying exactly, he's trying to claim that Elon's doing exactly what the far left has been doing with Twitter for all these years. They've been bullying people. They're forcing people to say and do what they want. They say, well, if I don't say your proper pronoun or whatever bullshit, then somehow that's an act of violence. Like some of them actually claim it. I'm like, dude, you're the ones that are forcing me to do shit, or you're trying to. Is that not an act of violence? Fuck off. But anyway, it's changing. It's getting better. It's getting better. I mean, YouTube's still sucking ass, of course. You got to be really careful what you say on YouTube. But YouTube is suppressing, right? Like, Mr. Lee experienced it not too long ago, right? I put his message up on the screen to, because YouTube censored it. Well, why did they censor it? Why can't he have the conversation that he wants to have? Why is it that half the chats we get into that they're censoring out some of people's messages, their chats? Leave their chats alone. Let people talk. YouTube, what is your goddamn problem? Let people talk. There's people out there trying to stop us from talking. And the funny thing is they're calling us Nazis that think differently than them. Like I'm pro-gun, right? They immediately assume I'm a Trumper. I don't fucking like Trump. But they immediately assume I'm a Trumper if I say, if I don't say I'm pro partial birth abortion. Let that baby pop his head out, look around, take a couple of breaths, and see the world he's not going to get to live in, and then scramble his fucking brains. If I don't say I'm pro for that, I'm a Trumper, apparently. That's how bad it's been. Fucking graphic as fuck, but whatever. So yeah. Anyway, and of course you're seeing what's happening with the election, right? The red tsunami, which is dangerous, right? Because if the Republicans get too much power and start to flex their muscles too much, shit could go in another direction that we don't like, or at least that I'm not gonna like, because I'm a libertarian for the purposes of American politics, right? I want liberty. I want liberties that the Democrats don't want me to have, and I want liberties that the Republicans don't want me to have. Both parties don't want me to have certain liberties. They're just different ones that they target. I want freedom. That's all I fucking want. Leave me alone. Just leave me the fuck alone. What the hell? How hard is that? How goddamn hard is that? Just leave me the fuck alone. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully the Republicans don't go off the deep end like the Democrats just did for the last several years. Because they did. Whether they want to admit it or not, they did. There's a reason why you got gay and transgender people speaking out against this bullshit, right? You do. If you look out there, look into the internet, there's plenty of them out there speaking out saying, look, you guys have lost your goddamn minds. We do not need drag queens going into the grade schools and exposing the kids to whatever you're trying to expose them to. We don't need these graphic books in the libraries for the kids to read. This is shit they've done. They're trying to groom the children, and they found out we're not going to put up with this shit. So they claim that we're the violent ones, and yet they're the ones that rioted and burned cities, and they're the ones shooting at, they shot at that one guy's parents' house, that politician, Republican politician. They're the ones shootings. They're the ones that orchestrated January 6th, right? They did that. They're blaming the Trumpers, but they had people planted there. They orchestrated the whole goddamn thing. This has been exposed. The Capitol Police opened the barricades. They had people in the crowd that ushered them. Hey, come on in, come on in. They had people planted to make it happen. The crowd, when you're in a crowd of people and the crowd starts moving, you just kind of move. And they entrapped those people, and then they turned around and called it an insurrection. That was not an insurrection. Barely any blood was spilled. An insurrection, you're gonna have dead people all over the goddamn place. They hyped it up. The media did. So sorry to go down the political, but it's making me crazy. It's nuts. It's been absolutely nuts what's been going on. I'm trying to catch up in the chat here. Hopefully I'm skipping. Dr. Meldrum. Is Dr. Meldrum a mainstream anthropologist? Well, he's actually talking about Bigfoot, so I think maybe he steps a little bit out, but he may still be in, right? I'm not prepared to make a big much of a judgment on him just yet. Snowmobiles. Joe says Homo ergaster and Homo erectus were the same, just a different name for the same species. Yeah. If they just need to, if they want to try and differentiate the two, then do it with the subspecies name, right? Instead of getting them two different species names. See, I think that's what happens because, everybody wants to discover a species. Yeah, I discovered the species. Well, really you didn't. You discovered a subspecies, and there's egos and shit to deal with and whatever. I'm sorry, dude. You discovered a subspecies instead of a whole new species. I know you want to say, "Hey, I discovered a new species," but you just didn't. Homo erectus. No comment. To Perillosaurus, do you know any groups we should try? Viking blood, I know that, says Mr. Lee. Indonesia, Lockbeard scientists admit to the hobbits. Were they calling them? No, the Nosferatu were in the area. The scientists admit to hobbits. Were they admit to what though about the hobbits? The hobbits were the Homo floresiensis, the ones that they're calling the hobbits. Joe says there were archaic Homo sapiens that were slightly different than what we are now, hence why our species is actually called, for the most part, Homo sapiens sapiens. Well, and that's another pet peeve of mine. Homo sapiens sapiens. We're smart humans. Man, that's an egotistical name. That's some egocentric fucking shit right there. We're really smart. We're smart humans. Son of a bitch. I don't know how much I've got. Again, I don't know where on my file. I got files in different places, like where I was kind of trying to organize my thoughts and stuff. Like I at no point do I use Homo sapiens sapiens. I don't accept it. I don't like it. I didn't go into a full, because there's just so much science to be done. I'm just one person here, doing my thing. But I think that we may be able to assign a few different subspecies names to people that are alive today. Unfortunately, people will be like, "Well, what do you mean I'm a different subspecies?" Well, you might be a different subspecies. So what? That's not a big deal, right? You know, we can call it different race. We can call it a different breed of dog. We can, we can do whatever we want to do. You know, but I remember there was a scene in the Orville, right, where Captain Mercer was freaking out on Gordon, because and Gordon wouldn't even really say anything. He's like, "What? Why we got to have why we got to put labels on things? Something about the box and thinking out of the box, or maybe the box wants to do its own thing, or something like that." And Gordon's like, I think it's just good to have words. Yeah, you need words to call shit. Like, you need to have a designation for what something is. Like, when you look at me, you're like, okay, this is a Caucasian male, European descent. What's the problem? You might even call me white. I don't think I'm actually white as far as the color white, but you gotta have words for shit. So I designate, several different subspecies of humans, but that's a whole other thing. Mr. Lee says he's ginger. Trying good. Common name in Scandinavian countries, at least it was. Now it's Muhammad. Switzerland, yeah. Joe says, and a lot of anthropologists recognize that Neanderthals should be designated as Homo sapiens neanderthalensis. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're getting there. They're just years behind Lockbeard. Very Fire says, cool, Mr. Lee. I'm Norwegian and I'm on my mother's side. Yeah, it's coming back, Mr. Lee. But I need to have a loctician address this thing, man, to get it done right. I guess I need to have a beard lock fund set up somewhere so people can donate to that. Donald says it was the 70s here today. We having a heat wave. Heat wave, hey? Welcome to the chat, Donald. Missed everything. Well, you missed a little bit, but not everything. Prefer Norway to Sweden. Nice country. Snow for the next 4 days. Jen says, Donald, same here. We have a window open until the rain starts later. Nikki's here. Welcome. Weird for November. Ocean Pond says, still begs the question, if Sasquatch shares our genetics, then don't we see some human-looking beings practically? Then, I assume you mean, then why don't we see some human-looking beings practically hairless? Because I would suspect because they're to me they're clearly Homo sapiens, but in the same way that you could put a Saint Bernard you could take a Saint Bernard. It's probably, I mean, this is an extreme example when it comes to dogs, right? But the Saint Bernard and the Chihuahua out in the woods, and it doesn't even matter which one's male or female, they're not going to be able to breed successfully. The Saint Bernard is going to look at the little Chihuahua anyway and think, that's probably just a snack. I mean, same thing for coyotes. Wolf can breed with a coyote, but the two are differentiated enough that their behavioral characteristics are different, and they're more likely to fight, and maybe even, the wolf's more likely to eat the coyote, right? But on rare occasions, the breeding can occur. Now, how well do you think a female Chihuahua is going to survive the breeding process with a male Saint Bernard? It's not going to work. It ain't getting nowhere. Even if it did somehow get pregnant without getting completely wrecked, the pregnancy would kill the Chihuahua. Flip it around. If the Chihuahua was the male, there's no way he's going to be able to he's not going to make the goal. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to be able to impregnate her. So you got some structural logistics to deal with. You got some behavioral issues to deal with. And if by some chance, like a human Sasquatch crossbreeding did occur, you would have an individual that is not going to have the ability to survive in the wild in the same manner as a Sasquatch. It's probably going to be extremely wary of humans. And I would think that the Sasquatch people would recognize that this thing is a threat to their safety, right? Because this half-breed is going to fuck up and alert humans to their presence. So I think that, one, they would not breed with a human just for that reason alone. And if it somehow happened because somebody got really, really stupid, they would probably kill the offspring and kill the individual that bred with a normal human to start with for creating this threat to their safety. The entire thing would not end well. There's so many ways it would not end well. Even if they did even if this individual, this half-breed, tried to live out there with them, it would probably die from exposure because it does not have the ability to survive those conditions like a Sasquatch does. It doesn't have the full genetics that is required. If it is required to compete, if it's a male and he's required to compete with other males, a half-breed, a half-human, half-Sasquatch male is probably going to die if he gets punched by a full-blooded Sasquatch. He's probably going to fucking cave his skull in. So there's just so many ways this I can see that this would not work out well. Donald says yes, Joe, but I will take it. I know what's coming. Cannot stand #rubbish. Yeah, it sucks ass. Yeah, I thought it was just me that thought he looked like a chimpanzee or some shit. Lurk. Ruthless is lurking. Welcome, Ruthless. They do it, Lockbeard, because it's working. Not anymore. If I'm understanding you correctly. Meathead. Yeah. Did I just hear a cow? Oh, yeah. The cows are... usually they're fenced outside this area here, but they are like walking right by the van and stuff. They're right here around me. One of these days, one of them's probably going to rub up against the van. They might do it anyway. If I fall asleep, they probably do it in the night or something. 64. Twitter employees' pronouns was where. Yeah, I don't know if I can get away with doing what Gina Carano did because they were harassing her about putting gender pronouns in there, and she didn't want to fucking play that game. But so what she did was she put in what was it, beep bop boop, and it pissed them off because it pissed them off. Hey, if you want to piss those people off really bad right now, they're losing their damn mind about the $8 for the verification check mark. They're trying to say that that crazy ass bitch AOC is trying to say, she tweeted this shit. She's like, oh, it's freedom of speech, blah blah blah, about the blue check mark. The blue check mark has nothing to do with free speech, you dumb bitch. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. They're all the time spreading it. She probably knows damn good and well too. She's spreading this bullshit to get the lefties pissed off. You can still say whatever the fuck you want on Twitter. Twitter's free. The blue verification check mark is just a verification mark. But there was some interesting stuff that was said today that may explain why these Twitter fucks are getting all pissed off. The people that work for Twitter they're all pissed off about, because it seems, and I don't know if this has been confirmed yet. It seems that what was happening is people were not getting verified to get a blue check mark, but they wanted it really bad. So what would happen is there'd be this little hushed conversation saying, look, I can make this shit happen for 15 grand. That was the number I saw mentioned, $15,000 for a blue fucking check mark on Twitter. So that may explain why these people are all pissed off, because they were making bank, scalping tickets, man. That would explain the shit, because it doesn't make any goddamn sense. The blue check mark doesn't do anything. It doesn't even truly verify shit, because I'm sure there's people that can find ways around that. But they keep pushing this. They keep seeing them say this shit about, free speech, blah, blah, blah. It has nothing to do with free speech. You can still say the same shit whether you have a blue check mark or not. But that was like their part of it was a lot of them, they were so proud of that blue check mark, right? Oh, I'm a verified Twitter user. These same people that are pissed off at rich people, like, oh, these rich people, and then they're acting the same way with their blue check mark, And the damn Twitter employees, man. If you saw like the video where this person was taken through, and it's just like a luxury resort, basically. They have wine on tap at work. There's probably very little work going on at Twitter. That's why Elon Musk can thousands of people, because they don't need those people. They never did. Take our guns soon. Nobody will stand against them. There's nobody, very few left that will fight. Yeah. Yeah, they better stop fucking around, or I'll be making a new. I'll have to make a. Look, you see my shorts. Like I get, it's becoming a little bit of a series, a series of shorts. Fuck around and find out. So I have like what was the last one? Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel found out. Yeah, that's what they say. That's the titles. Somebody found out on each one, and it has a guy doing the fuck around and find out graph. Anyway, the lefties that are stirring all this shit, we're gonna lock down part of a city and we're gonna call it Chaz, and they talk about us being violent, and we're not. They're the ones that are violent, and it's fucked up. It's that they're so ass backwards, or they're trying to be violent. They're trying to act, and they'll go block traffic and stupid shit like that. They'll go attack old ladies who aren't wearing a mask. They'll do all this crazy fucking shit. And we just been putting up with it, and it's about to come to a head where, after this little red wave of an election happens, if they start rioting this time around, shit could get wild. And by the time the government responds, there could be 1 million dead, and it would be justified. They've been fucking terrorizing us for years. They terrorized us through this so-called pandemic. With all this shit that's being proven, here lately they've been proving that everything's bullshit. Like I've been telling you, I haven't had my channel running for 2 years, but I've been telling people online for 2.5 years. all these indications that it's all bullshit, and people just don't want to listen. Oh, but the politicians tell me, and my doctor gave me this test. The test is bullshit. Your doctor doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. The news said this. Look, all these fuckers are lying to you. I'm telling you. And it's coming out. All this shit's coming out now. And I guess who's going to fucking recognize, motherfuckers? Recognize. I was telling you this shit 2 years ago. Goddamn recognize. Listen, when the politician tells you something, it's a fucking lie. It's a goddamn lie. When the media tells you something, it's at least a half truth, but it's a lie. Tuskegee. I need to catch up in this goddamn chat because I'm way behind. Fantastic Care helmet. Yeah. Yeah, they don't seem to understand what democracy is. My favorite description of democracy comes from the miniseries Children of Dune, when Alia the great houses were trying to get a constitution. They wanted a constitution, and Alia said, "We will not marginalize Atreides' power with the chaos of democracy." And democracy is chaos. For one thing, these Democrats don't understand is that America, the United States. Listen to me. The United States is not a democracy. It's not. It's a constitutional republic. See, democracy is completely retarded. Constitutional republic's only about half retard. And that's again, the founding fathers knew you never go full retard. Democracy would be full retard. We just went half retard. And we'd be here all night discussing why, there's a problem. But there's no perfect system. But if anybody thinks there's a perfect system, they're out of their goddamn mind. There's no perfect system. There's always going to be problems, no matter what system of government you pick. Now, some are better than others. The Eternus Empire monarchy is obviously the best. Because look what happened. The Eternus Empire asserted power over the entire Earth in 2005, and nobody noticed because, I'm pretty hands off. Leave people fuck alone. For the most part, leave people alone. The other governments, the lesser governments, the illegitimate governments, I would call them, could do to learn from my fine example. Squash Cowboy says, Donald might the end of the month t-shirt and cap. That would be a bull man, the bull man. Donald Fuller, if it was a male, it would be the bull man. I must be missing something. I'm skipping along a lot, so try and catch up in this chat. It's going nuts. Rutha says, "Did you see all the flags fell down behind Fetterman at his rally? That was sorry." No, I didn't catch that. I hope the Democrat one of these days. Look, at some point you say, "Look, sorry, look, dude, look, it's not right to put a person who's in a diminished capacity like that into a position where he's going to have to take. He's going to take all kinds of public scrutiny. He's going to get attacked all day long." Same thing with Joe Biden. What they're doing with Joe Biden is straight up elder abuse. They should have said, "Look, dude, this isn't right." And Dr. Oz, why in the fuck did you not stop that whole fucking sham right there? Dr. Oz, you should have fucking said, "No, look, this isn't a real debate. This isn't right. This guy is definitely at diminished capacity. He cannot function enough to do this debate. He cannot function well enough to um, do the job. And so, look, why don't we stop right now and you guys nominate a new candidate? That's what Dr. Oz should have said, because this is bullshit. The Fetterman should not been on that debate stage. He should not be in an election. It's just unethical for anyone to put him through that. Even though he may want to, at some point, it's just like with an elder person who can't drive anymore. It's not safe for them or anyone around them. You just have to say, look, I'm sorry, but you just can't drive anymore. Sorry, Joe. Yeah, some people are bringing that stuff up, and we'll steer back. And take into consideration Bezos. Talking about Bezos. Fuck, his TV show's fucking crapped out, man. He's that's a whole nother thing. Yeah. A few weeks. Expect to be related to Who Gives a Fuck. Where did I find fuck to ask? Oh, shit. Yeah, that was a little, yeah. A kind man. He's probably chilling. Judy says, Lockbeard, there has to be more names in the business of Sasquatch besides Dr. Meldrum. And questions is, where are they all at in this matter? I think everybody's afraid to touch it, or they've been ordered not to, you know? You might, well, let's see, holy shit, I'm like 20 minutes behind in chat. So I don't know what you heard. The dogs are out here making noise. The cows are making noise. The coyotes are howling in the distance. That's Goat Man. Lockbeard's got plethora of cryptids at his farm. Maybe. That's fun thing. That's why I'd love to go there and find them. But like I got a long way to go. Like, so we got to start here with the channel, right? We got to build up the channel, share the channel, comments, likes, hit the PayPal link. I mean, reality is that it takes money to do all this shit and then not be doing, shit that's not having to do with the channel. Gotta build the channel, get the channel monetized, and get shit rolling so that I can get the funds, start to build up the funds to go and do shit like this and actually find some freaking answers. I can't find any answers as long as I'm sitting here in freaking limbo. I just can't. And if you're depending on people like High Check and Barackman and Meldrum sitting up there in his little office studying footprints, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. If I think something's out there, and if it is out there, and I got the funding to do this shit, I will fucking find it. It's a goddamn guaranteed. Assuming it's out there. I'm pretty sure Sasquatch is out there. Pretty sure. 99% sure. And I think the hobbits may be as well. The some remnants of those people are still there. Tenure. Dr. Meldrum has tenure. He can do and say what he wants. Younger anthropologists that don't have tenure could ruin their career if they spoke up. Yeah. Pet man dog. No, there's just multiple dogs out here. Breeding issues. and it sure keeps things hidden. Science has its own politics still. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, that's the reality. Everything has to do with politics. Like some people say, politics don't have nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. Everything in your life has to do with it. Like anything you do, politics touches it. If you don't get involved with politics, you're going to become its victim. If tell me you don't feel victimized when you pull up to the gas station right now. I mean, you might as well bend over and put the lube on because here it comes. And why is that? Because fucking, Democrats are in control right now. They push this goddamn global warming bullshit. One of these days, I guess I need to do a deep dive into this because there's still people that have bought into this bullshit that Al Gore sold them all those years ago. I bought into it at first. I got an environmental degree and they were teaching that to us, but they didn't actually prove shit. That's the thing, because I was studying a wide variety of sciences and getting a far better um um grasp on what's actually proof, what's actual evidence, what do we actually know. And at some point it just clicked for me. I was like, this piece of the puzzle came together and this piece of the puzzle came together from all these, because usually when you go to college, you take some basics, but that really, you don't really learn shit with your basics. Your basics are just, it's just high school shit. It really is. And then you focus on one thing. So you look at the fucking world through a peephole. You're a specialist. You know of a specialty, but you don't have a broad enough knowledge to be able to break down some big conspiracy bullshit like man-made global warming, which is complete bullshit. And again, it would take a while to break it down. So at some point, I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on that because it sounds legit, right? It sounds legit. I'm like, well, if it's so legit, right? Because we're focusing on this trace gas, carbon dioxide. It's trace gas, right? It's trace gas. It's a very tiny percentage of the Earth's atmosphere. Water vapor is way more abundant in Earth's atmosphere, and it is a greenhouse gas itself. Why don't we ban fucking water? you know, any greenhouse owner, any weed grow house owner can tell you, if you add extra CO2 to the atmosphere, the plants will consume the extra and grow and get it back down to an equilibrium level, right? Well, they may not use long words like equilibrium, but that's what happens. If you release extra, you'll have extra plant growth. In oceans, you'll have extra plankton and algae growth. In those areas where the limiting factor is how much CO2 is present, there's always areas that have that limit, that condition. So you absolutely, you can't raise the Earth's atmospheric CO2 outside its equilibrium point, at least not for any kind of extended period of time. Um, even if you didn't have a biome with all these nice organisms that will consume the extra CO2, you would have chemical reasons, interactions and reactions that would take place that would prevent changing atmospheric CO2 concentrations outside what its normal equilibrium is. And that's just tip of the fucking iceberg. Male Chihuahua can't spell. Mr. Lee. Harry the Hobbits. Jake is here. Welcome. Mixed grill cunts. Cowboy says my son has a female black lab and a Yorkie that did the wild thing and had one pup. It was a hairy little black dog. No one's allowed entry into those areas in Indonesia. Oh, I'm sure I would find a way. Much less going to Indonesia. Yeah. I mean, again, that's what I'm talking about, though, right? You know, if people want this discovery to happen, they've got to be willing to goddamn pay for it. It's easier for them to pay Rick Dyer to just tell them whatever bullshit that they want to hear and show them fake videos. It's just easier, right? Most of the Bigfoot community has no idea what constitutes actual evidence. Okay, what's actual proof? These images that don't show shit are not proof of shit. They just aren't. This is Judy. I see my boat claims people can go into specific places. I see people going there. Share a little factoid. Yeah. Imagine if you paid enough, they would say, come on in. Ocean Pond says hybrid vigor might help us survive. The idea of combining the best traits of both species is commonly known. In some cases, that might be true. In other cases, absolutely not true. You know, it depends on what the conditions are you're looking at, too, right? So let's say you had a bloodhound and a greyhound, and you had a tracking business, and you race dogs. Well, the mutt between those two would not be able to compete with the parents in either endeavor, right? He would not have the tracking ability. He would not have the scent, the smell of the bloodhound. He would have less so. He would still be good, but not as good as the bloodhound. He would never, if this was an animal that relied on its sense of smell to be that strong in its natural niche, and it crossed with a different breed from some other area that did not that resulted in a puppies that did not have as strong a sense of smell, those puppies would fucking die. They would not be able to compete with the others, and they would fall behind very quickly because in that ecosystem, normally just a very slight um, diminished capacity is where is that's that little zone where they shave off the worst, right? Some In order for them to get bred up to that level, the weakest in that particular trait have to die. They cannot be allowed to reliably and regularly reproduce compared to the better ones in their population. So if you have a half breed that's way below that selection zone, he's definitely dead. And the same for the greyhound side of things, right? A bloodhound is never, or a half breed, a half bloodhound, half greyhound is never going to keep up with the slowest purebred greyhound. So if he's in an ecosystem where that speed is critical, and the slowest of the greyhounds are getting selected out, because the only way they get that fast in that ecosystem is if they are having some selective pressure. Some of them are dying because they're too slow. Then a half breed is going to be way below any of the purebreds, and he will die in an ecosystem. So hybrid vigor only works under some circumstances. In a lot of circumstances, hybrid is instant fucking death. And I think a hybrid, again, we don't have any information, but I think a hybrid between our race and the Sasquatch race would be a goddamn disaster. The only way it would survive is if it was invited to join our society. I think the Sasquatches would fucking kill it because it would pose a risk to their safety. It would risk their exposure, and it would be too weak. And I think they would understand very well that the weaknesses of a half breed must be eliminated from their gene pool. I think they would. I think I don't think that concept would be lost on them. Yeah, Yeah. Rather not see your shorts. Cowboy says I'd rather not see your shorts. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to watch them, but that's why I want to try and keep them over here. Like I'll still put some on the regular channel, but I'll try to keep those pertaining to paranormal type subject matter, and not a whole bunch. And then this channel I'll do, because the shorts are bringing the subscribers and uh and growing the channel. It might actually get monetized, you know, um before well, it depends on how fast the views come. But I have to make shorts. If I don't make shorts, the channel will remain stagnated like it has been for the past year and a half. And I can't function like this. I need the funds to come in. So I must get one of these channels monetized. And so, but I know a lot of people don't want to see the shorts, but luckily, I mean, you can just you know, just ignore them. G says it was a 30-year lifetime struggle for the man who survived the attacks out of 2 that were 8. Chaz, yeah, fucking Chaz, man. Doc number 1, no lie, douchebag. Your doctor has a BMW, huh? Document has been verified by known scientifics to be a fact, not just a half truth. What documentary? Yeah, that's exactly 2 wolves and a lamb voting on what's for the dinner. It's an incredible film. I mean, you could still have it in that situation, um, in a republic, even a constitutional republic, if people are ignoring the Constitution, which seems to be happening a lot lately in our society. Not sure what film you're talking about. This is Fubar. Monkey vid uploaded laters. Judy says, you see them point blank out in the open. Was caught video eating his buddy. Who was eating his buddy? Joe says, that's right, Lockbeard. There's no perfect system, no perfect politics. That's why I don't care. People can call me stupid for that. Whatever. Every politician is a liar for the most part. Oh, yeah. Every one of them. Can't trust any of them. That's what pissed me off, though. Like, Democrats, if I disagree with the Democrat, they'll call me a Trumper. And some Republicans are the same way. What are you, a Democrat? No, I'm a libertarian. What, a liberal? No, a libertarian means I want liberty from both you assholes. Mr. Lee says girlfriend wants a guinea pig for Christmas. I don't know. They smell a bit funky. Does she have to have a guinea pig? Could she live with gerbils? Gerbils are a little, like, they're a lot smaller. They have a tail, but they don't produce all the urine. They, like, you don't buy them bedding. You just give them newspaper, and they'll chew up the newspaper and make it in a nice fluffy bedding within like 30 minutes, man. And then they don't piss a lot because they're a desert creature that needs conserved water. So their system, they don't urinate a lot. But she may not be happy with that. So, um, maybe we could talk about guinea pig, because I've been in that situation before myself, Mr. Lee. And and I can tell you what I did. And and there's I have some ideas of how I could done it better, but that's a whole nother game, whole nother subject. He don't like talking politics. You're gonna take our guns. Since they started implementing gun control in the old West towns, it ain't happened yet. Well, yeah, but it ain't happened because the pushback. If we don't push back, they will. They want to disarm us. Just like the Nazis did. They want to disarm us. The people that want to disarm us, they are Nazis. They don't understand that. But that's what Nazis do. You disarm the population so they can't push back when you want to impose tyranny. So um and they need to just stay back, stop jacking with the Second Amendment, stop trying to blame. Well, it's just like, hey, look, somebody just bashed Paul. Somebody just bashed Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. Are we going to ban hammers now? We should ban hammers. Stop all hammers. Hammers cause the violence. Tom Cruise. Look it up, The Hobbit. Oh, I know. Look up what? I mean, I know all about the hobbits. That's Homo floresiensis. I have to say is all I had to say. Joe don't want to get into it, Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee says better to talk about Zasky. Only no, we've done enough on Zasky for now. Yeah, I mean, I'm typically not like because like I could be critical of people buying the tickets, but I did buy one. I did buy one. So hopefully we get funded tonight. You better believe I'm going on a mission real quick if that happens. I'm going on a mission real quick. What do you mean what is that? It's a lottery, Mr. Lee. It's up to like I think it's 1.6 billion. Let me see. Yeah, 1.6. Drawing is in 2.5 hours. But that's if you take it out, paid out over like a bunch of years. That's the annuity. If you take it like cash up front, it's 782 million. And then the government takes about I'm trying to remember. Not quite half, I don't think. They don't take half, but they take a big old chunk of it. Like, I don't know, freaking like 40% off of that. 35, 40%. Because somehow they think that belongs to them. I don't know how they think that belongs to them, but somehow it does. Everyone already paid taxes on it when they earn that money, and then they put it in a pot, and then the government's going to take another chunk out. And anyway, that's a whole nother stupid subject too. Batman says they both suck. Joe says squirrel. Yes, they're definitely squirrels out here. Little bastards. Hadn't hit in 3 months. Cowboy says, "Hey, Lockbeard. I asked Jessica Jones why she hasn't took your challenge last night. All I got was crickets." Did you? Did you actually you talked to her? Like, does she even know who I am? She probably don't know who I am. She's a big time YouTuber compared to me. She still can't remote view that object. Lockbeard 2 is the designation, Jessica Jones, in case you're listening. Chessboard says, Squatchy Cowboy, little boy yelled, fuck the Japanese teacher asked, who said that? A Japanese girl raised her hand. Teacher said, who said that, Susie? She replied, Lee Iacocca, 1972. Awesome. Mr. Lee says, my old man spends fortune on that. It's rubbish. Yeah, I mean it's a way to steal more money from poor people. They're poor, desperate people. It's like that guy I see down. Well, I don't see him that they ran him off. He was hanging around the gas station, and he'd give people a sob story, and then they'd give him some cash, because they think they're helping this poor guy. And then what would happen was I would see him go in, and he'd go get Powerball tickets all the time, and he was spending their money on lottery tickets all the time. So they weren't helping anything. They very likely were feeding his gambling addiction. Rock viewers when it comes to legitimate crickets, yeah. The issue with telepathy has been that we've never known it to have been a natural trait. Well, I mean, this gets into everything being frequency, vibration, and energy, right? And I think that this we're not supposed to, like, whenever someone does experience something like that. One, we're gonna have a hard time proving it because it's kind of outside our normal. It's outside what we're supposed to have in our reality, right? There's supposed to be nothing's ever perfect, right? There's always weaknesses in the boundaries that are supposed to be present, and um, that that sometimes are better or worse, or maybe a person's a little tuned just right or just wrong, because I think it is a defective situation. You're not supposed to be able to communicate in that way between human and human. That's not, like, it's very clear that the way we're designed is meant for us to experience individuality. Whereas when you die, you'll find out real quick that you're not an individual. We're all the same person. We're all the same consciousness. Now everybody's like, what the fuck did he just say? Yeah. We're all the same consciousness that just thinks it's individuals. As long as you're attached to this little filter tuned in. The water is the antenna. Every molecule of water is an antenna of consciousness. This signal, just out there throughout the entire universe. We're part of the entire damn thing, and so if we were you got to have the filter though. You got to have the filter where you don't remember and you experience individuality. Otherwise, you would know everything that there is to know in all existence, in all time, infinite knowledge, and you wouldn't be able to function. You'd be gone. In order for all this to work, we have to be individual. Think we're individual. Only remember what we've experienced in this while being tuned by this body. Initially says, I've been watching new series, right one, not too bad. Everything taught at us was actually reversed. Were you watching that? Greyhound, fantastic dogs, unpredictable though. Chessword says, I'm pissed. Snow crab season canceled. They say it's global warming. More bullshit. Yeah. Absolute bullshit. It just makes me wonder if this is just another way to create another area of food shortage. They're trying desperately to make food shortages, and it's not working too well because humans are a little too resilient for that bullshit. Like, if there's no longer food on the shelves or at the restaurants, then a lot of people are just going to be out here killing deer and stuff and eating. And of course, at this location, you can hear the cows right outside the door here. I like, you can even eat those damn coyotes. Coyotes are perfectly edible. Fairmont free subscription. Judy says, boy, do I have fun teaching the grandkids. Helps what Caitlin thinks like-minded. Wasn't talking about your videos. Oh, you talking about other people's? Yeah, but I'm still, like, I mean it. Like, I don't want to flood the main channel with shorts. So my hope is build this channel up to be monetized, and by basically focusing, this is the shorts channel, and then hopefully that by osmosis, a lot of subscribers find the other channel and it can get built up too. but it'll just take a lot longer. Yeah. So its release says Greyhound tend to bolt. Yeah, they're built to run, man. They got to run. Prairie Fire says, I heard that snow crab breeding stocks have collapsed. There are virtually none left. Yeah, it would really be interested in finding out, how the fuck they allowed that to happen. Look, we have a lot more control over shit like that than the government. Well, the government try because we run into that bullshit like here in Oklahoma where they fucking bullshit us. Our wildlife department bullshitted us about the paddlefish shit, right? And come up with stupid excuses like with the public meeting. At the public meeting about this shit, someone asked, well, why don't you stock the paddlefish just like Missouri does? Because Missouri does it very successfully, right? It works just fine. And they said, oh no, the sex ratios are off. Who the fuck cares if the sex ratios are off? Just put more paddlefish in the rivers so that people are out there because I don't know if you're not familiar with paddlefish. Some people call them spoonbill. That's the wrong name for them. They are not spoonbill. A spoonbill is a kind of fucking bird. Paddlefish. They don't bite a hook. They're a filter feeder. They're like a freshwater whale, right? They don't get as big as a whale, but they're a big freaking fish. And with a big paddle on their nose. Their nose is a big paddle. Anyway, the only way you can catch them is you cast your line out. It has a treble hook on there with a weight on the end, and you just reel it back. And as it comes through you're reeling it back through the river there. That you're trying to snag these paddlefish while they're on their way up river to go lay eggs and breed. We're snagging the shit out of these fish out of the river. And this asshat, this clown from the Fish and Wildlife Service gave the excuse of sex ratios are off when you do stocking. What the fuck kind of bullshit lame excuse is that, you dumb fuck? They don't want to spend the money on it. And then, of course, they're making millions selling the roe because the eggs can be made into a type of caviar from the paddlefish. You're not allowed to do that, but the government of Oklahoma can do that because they get to make the rules. So now they got people. So that's why I wish no one would ever take their paddlefish to the Paddlefish Research Center. Oh, but they'll clean the fish for you. Yeah, but they're going to take your eggs. They're making bank. They built that Paddlefish Research Center on your dollar in the first place, and somehow you don't get nothing for your investment. You don't get nothing for your time. One big paddlefish could bring thousands of dollars, and you don't get shit. The government takes it all. They take it all. The government takes it all because they're scumbag thieves, evil, despicable, domestic terrorist scum. They're not the legitimate government of this land. They do not belong in power, period. They all should go to goddamn jail. All they do is steal and then figure out new ways to steal. Prairie Fire says Fukushima's radiation has destroyed them. Radiation, the gift that keeps giving. Yeah, I'm not buying the story. I bet if I look more deeply into it, I could probably sort out some bullshit there. I bet they're fucking lying. They're one. I think there'll probably still be some snow crab fishing going, but the elites get it all. Or two, either just trying to keep the numbers to themselves, or also they're probably trying to create additional food shortages, like people that are used to going and hitting the crab buffet every weekend are not going to be able to. So they're just creating more of these. They're doing all these little things, trying to create food shortages, trying to drive up prices on shit. They're trying to crack this egg, and it's just they're having a hard ass time doing it because people are just too resilient. Our economy's just been trucking along. It's too resilient for them to destroy as easily as they would like. They're trying like hell though. Just because you get monetized, you still have to pass the $100 threshold. You're talking about the 1,000 hours, right? Or not 1,000. I'm sorry. The what, $100? What are you talking about? There's the 4,000 watch hours. There's the 1,000 subscribers, and that's it. Nobody cares. Just pray for. Donald says you have to start telling fantastic stories like you shot 2 Gugway in Washington or hit one with 400 rounds to get monetized. Lucky, I'm telling you, man. I mean, isn't everybody sick of this shit? I mean, isn't everybody sick of this shit? People are still like, oh, we want people to feel like they can come forward and tell their stories. Yeah, these stories, we've heard thousands of them, and they're not getting us anywhere. We need actual successful investigation. Not what everybody's been doing so far, right? It's not good enough. Going into the woods and hooting and hollering and beating on trees and all this stuff is not working. You'd think people would be sick of the bullshit and stories that are obvious bullshit. Like that shit's obvious bullshit. Oh, you shot 2 Gugway. Well, what the fuck's a Gugway? Oh, it's that. Oh, it's what you said, right? World Bigfoot Radio. It's what you said it was. World Bigfoot Radio. It's a Gugway. It's this thing that you describe, except you can't prove that. How do you fucking know that? Well, you don't know that. You made that shit up, or somebody made that shit up, and you're just passing it along. 400 rounds. Goddamn vault of nonsense bullshit. 400 rounds. Fucking people will pay for that. They just want a fantasy fairy tale. Go get a fucking book, I guess. I don't know. Those people need to. I mean, yeah, they are. They got all those new agents and yeah, they are, man. This is dangerous shit right here. Cuz the IRS is absolute criminal. This is criminal. There's nothing about the IRS that's legit in the United States. It's illegal because this is slavery. This is what this is. This is slavery. Master takes a cut of your work output. Well, that's slavery. You got everybody. They don't beat you with whips anymore. But if you don't give them their money, they'll throw you in goddamn jail, right? Or they'll take your shit. What little you got. They'll come take it. One way or another, they'll fucking take it. And you can't stop them. And they'll come with guns. People might get offended. Oh, well, this is slavery. You ain't beat under a whip. No. But they will come with guns and forcibly take your shit. They have their ways. Just because they don't have to use a whip, because you need to earn money, right? To pay your way. But they won't let employers employ you without withholding. And then if you owe and you don't pay, they'll come with guns. So they don't need whips. They'll just goddamn shoot you. Cowboy says just read about Bigfoot encounters from people, not vet any of them. That's the way you get monetized on YouTube. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, hopefully we can, I don't know. Hopefully a lot more people start getting to understand that they're in this bullshit side of things where people are just making up stories. You don't know that any of these stories are true. Even the ones that sound believable stories aren't necessarily true. You can't prove that they're true. The stories don't give you shit. What you need is for the right people to go out and try to investigate the phenomena and figure out a way to find actual evidence of it. Like my goal would be to determine a way to repeatably and reliably observe Sasquatch so that I could teach biologists, an anthropologist to how to do this so that they can do it in a more formal scientific manner and you know, publish papers and whatnot and so on and so forth. But actual discovery needs to happen. Cowboy says, or shoot 3 Bigfoot and bury them, then forget where you bury them. Yeah, seriously. Jen says, hour and 22 minutes in, he has talked about the show topic. No, I haven't. No, everybody's got me on all this other shit. Gerbils, hamsters, girlfriend wants guinea pig. Yeah, maybe we can talk about the guinea pig thing another time, Mr. Lee. What happened to them dragging one to this town center and put it on display? Yeah, really. No, I haven't. I mean, it's really okay. Someone brought this up the other night on someone's show. I can't even remember exactly where did I see that at? They get 10,000 people to protest the war in Ukraine. Well, that would be a pointless endeavor anyway. Snow crab. Race to Antarctica. Sort of 65 to 68. All people with balls are my age now. No way I would take 782 million. How could anyone live on that? I gotta skip and but it's just education system history is not taught anymore. It's watered down PC version. Joe says, fuck the truth. Let's all just make up our own Bigfoot narrative and cover it with that Donald's Bigfoot sauce that I designed the bottle for and get lots of subscribers with the bullshit. Mr. Lee says, when I go see the old man, sometimes I buy scratch cards for him. He like possessed straight for the scratch card. Yeah. Get that dopamine, man. Or butter. Yeah, you gotta have some more butter. Chessboard, welcome. Or butter, Bigfoot sauce. Ocean Pond says 2 cases in point. Quinaul Parker and Chief Osceola, progeny of Indian natives and fathers and white women, were strikingly heads and shoulders in stature and ability. Be out killing Lockbeard's cattle. They're not mine, my brothers. Cowboy says little over 800 acres behind me where they run cows. I'm sure they wouldn't miss one every now and then. With the coyotes, you talking about the coyotes? Yeah, them coyotes would be in deep. If I was having to hunt for food, them coyotes would be in deep shit. Right now, I'm just, I think it's cool. They're out there. They're doing their thing. They don't bother the cows, I don't think. But that's probably largely because the farm dogs are here. The farm dogs will fuck them up if they come too close. You're not getting any notifications for shorts. I don't know why that is. Didn't get the shorts joke. I guess I didn't. This is Combs entitled society, expect free everything. Judy says absolutely right. Lockbeard collective consciousness. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people seem to kind of instinctually know, really, but yeah. You have instantaneous action at a distance, right? People have heard this in science, and of course, mainstream science really hasn't picked up and understood what we're really talking about now. You're talking about the instantaneous action at distance. That's instantaneous no, speed of light, fuck speed of light. Speed of light's slow. It's nothing. It's not even a speed anyway. It's a rate of induction. It's not a speed. There is no speed of light. That's bullshit. But that's just one of the many misinterpretations of observations that mainstream science has made. It prevents them from getting to the proper understanding of how the goddamn universe works. Anyway, point is instantaneous action at a distance. There is no limiting speed on anything because that's instantaneous. There is no time component to that transfer of information. That's what it is, a transfer of information. So you have instantaneous um, um, transfer of information from every point in the universe to every other point in the universe, constituting a massive, infinite neural network of just of a level of consciousness and intelligence that is so far beyond what humans can even comprehend that it's just pointless to even try to speculate or even imagine. You can't. It's not possible. This is why when people take 5-MeO DMT, it's the most powerful hallucinogenic you can take. And we talked a bit about it a little bit. It's why when you're gone, like you don't even remember. I mean, when you come back, like you might retain a few bits and pieces, but you really can't, because this little mind here can't handle that shit. And when you're there, whoever you think you are, like you think you're Judy right now, when you take 5-MeO DMT, you ain't Judy anymore. Judy's gone. Judy's bye-bye. You are now the whole goddamn universe is what you are. Because you ain't filtered in and tuned. You ain't tuned within the radio that's in your head. It's not a radio station. The radio station is the whole goddamn universe. This is a radio. It tunes the signal. That's your consciousness, the signal. Or you may even try to call that a spirit or a soul, but these are all words with a lot of connotation. But if it means I eat or don't eat, I will damn sure start doing it again. Killing animals, yeah. So cowboy blocked Mr. Lee. Tags for hunting farmers, John's cattle. Won't get paid until you make 100. 100 what? 100 what? Caviar equals salty, disgusting nuttiness. Yeah, but there's some people out there paying big money for it, so I'll fucking sell them some caviar because I ain't gonna eat it necessarily. I mean, I eat a little bit of it, but yeah, we gotta beat up everybody. I don't know that, Mr. Lee. I mean, there's a lot of people with opinions on that, but the best way to collect hair from one creature may not be the same best way to collect hair from another creature. So it's, and for a creature we haven't even been able to reliably and repeatedly observe, like Sasquatch, there's no way to even begin to know. Watch the live videos with film. Face mask, make sure you don't contaminate. Yeah, always got to worry about contamination. So much better. Sent you mail lock. Okay, I'll check it later. Joe says, guess I'm the dumbest fuck out there. I saw one for less than a couple of minutes and admit I still know next to nothing but peeps running around with pareidolia pics claiming they know everything. Yeah, funny how that works, isn't it? That's what gives you more legitimacy by far than someone like them, though. It's like, you're not coming out here, well, I know this and that, and I know all this shit, whereas you have World Bigfoot Radio over here, fucking Duke, who apparently, knows all the different varieties of Sasquatch, the Gugway, and what's the other ones? The Janosqua, and all this shit, and he's talking about the different characteristics of them and blah blah blah, and he's just sitting here talking like he's the big bad authority on this shit. And guess what? This guy has me blocked because His bullshit cannot withstand scrutiny. He's making a whole bunch of claims with no evidence, just precisely dick for evidence. So, whereas someone like you just say, hey, look, I saw this big hairy dude. I don't know exactly what the fuck he is, but this is what he looked like. So this is, we can guess and speculate as to his true nature. Don't pick up on. Stop the film, video frame, X frame, cold type, timestamps. Start pulling girlfriend's covers on. The heat will turn on. Chessboard says, Judy, DaVinci Resolve 18-inch free video editor. Oh, talking about software. Oh man, see that's ridiculous shit. Like, see that right there is a red flag. That right there is a red flag. Because look, this isn't like going to a goddamn petting zoo. And you see groups of people going out and stuff like that, which is fine if you're just looking to maybe see them, but if you're seriously looking to be the term, you gotta go alone. Is what I'm trying to get to. You gotta go alone. Like, you can't just go out there with a bunch of people and everybody's stomping, everybody's making much noise, everybody's got their odors. It's just too much. One individual, under maximum stealth, sniper level shit, but probably going to have to step it up beyond that. And you're not going to be able to do that with two people, let alone 3, 4, 5. Mr. Lee says, Donald, girlfriend needs sleeping time. She works hard. Don't have the insomnia like me. Normal sleep. I never get that. Use Blender and DaVinci Resolve 18 for my video editing. They are both free. Gimmick heaters they sell on YouTube. It works good, and don't mess with the electric bill. Mr. Lee says, insomnia the biggest affliction. Consider. Yeah. But really, we talked about a lot of the dragons that we gotta slay, right? We kind of have. We had the particular incident that brought it up, which is kind of what the thumbnail is hinting at, is the literal belief that humans lived alongside something that could be described as a dragon. This person was claiming that that the dragons mentioned in the Bible were dinosaurs. So we're back to this bullshit again, where these people cannot deal with the fact that the earth is, billions of years old. Because they believe the earth is only thousands of years old, according to their religion. Now, the problem is it don't say that in the fucking Bible. What verse says the earth is only 6,000 years old in the Bible? Not one. It's not there. It doesn't say that. You guys just believe this shit because somebody just figured that shit out. So, it's got to be this old. No, you don't have any. There's not even. You don't even. There's no evidence in science. There's no evidence in the world to prove that. And you can't even point to a biblical verse that proves that the earth is only thousands of years old. So why in the hell are these people stuck on this idea that the earth is only several thousand years old? 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere, whatever their particular flavor is. There's no point to the goddamn verse. Point to it. Where does it specifically say the age? It doesn't say it. Doesn't say it. So right there, you're fucking thwarted. You're done. You're stopped. It's over. Stop it. Humans, the old scientific evidence shows that humans did not live at the same times as the dinosaurs. um, even if you don't even if you're not using isotopic age dating, you can still see that's the case, because in geology, one of the most basic things you learn in geology. I minored in geology, by the way. So I have some college education in the subject. And these people who are talking out of their ass have none. They think they can go online and Google some shit, and under their own direction, being someone that cannot direct their own education or the direction of education of anyone else for that matter, but they're acting like they can. They don't know what actual studying a subject is. Or if they do, it's not, this isn't their subject. They just, whatever reason, they've latched on. But the point is one of the basic things you learn in geology, and it's really, really basic logic. It really is the rule of superposition, right? If this sediment layer laid down and then this sediment layer laid down on top of it, you know that this layer was laid down first, right? That's really goddamn easy, right? This layer got laid down, then this one laid down on top of it, right? Here you come along a million years, 600 million years later, and you find these two layers of rock that were solidified from sediments that laid down. Which layer is older? This one is, because this one laid on top of it. So this one had to already be here first. It's really basic shit. This is the rule of superposition. Really basic shit. So if you have a layer with dinosaurs, and then you have a layer where the dinosaurs are goddamn gone, and all you got some damn rodents fossils in that layer, and then you got another layer on top of that, and it's got some fucking weasels and shit, and then you got another another layer on top of that, and you got some fucking lemurs, and then you got another layer on top of that, and you got some humans somewhere along the line. Well, you know that the humans came long time after those damn dinosaurs were here, and you didn't need to use any kind of isotopic age dating at all. And then these assholes, these people who believe in young Earth, will bring up carbon-14. You cannot use carbon-14 to date fucking dinosaurs. They're too old. You need different isotopes for that. There's a whole different types, all different types of isotopes that you use for isotopic age dating. That's how it got its name. Carbon-14 is not one of them, motherfuckers. But somehow they're latched on the carbon-14. Volt's moved to the LBL. I think they're doing night investigations, claiming Einstein. Well, that Einstein could be freaking deer. Actually, you're gonna see some. Because my channel's been down, and I haven't done my upload videos from the woods here. The more recent ones. I got like 3 of them, I think. Anyway, there's some eye shine from something that I bet a lot of people aren't aware you can get eye shine from. Some of you will know, some people know this, but I'll almost bet some people are going to be surprised what the eye shine was caused from. And also, there is a point where I get some orbs on the video, and then you're going to find out what caused those orbs, because what I'm seeing on the video is not what I see with the naked eye. And so if you're out there filming and you catch what looks like orbs and you weren't paying attention, and you later on you're looking at your videos like, oh my gosh, it's orbs. Well, if you were paying attention at the time the orbs were on the camera, and well, some people do, but they don't actually see. I know where a lot of these orb videos are what they're resulting from, and people just aren't, they don't want to accept it. They want to believe that it's always magical shit, and it's never magical shit. Even the shit that's fantastic paranormal is actually scientifically explainable some way, one way or another. billions of years. Cardiologist says it's your personality. Raptor's here. Welcome. Tired, main strong. Chessboard says, Lockbeard, where did the 233,000-year-old human bones that were found come from? Eureka. If I've looked at that particular case, I'm not remembering it. So somebody said they found some 233,000-year-old human bones. Joe says, the only thing I can say is I have one hypothesis based on observation. It may be wrong. I don't know at this point. Yeah. Mr. Lee says guinea pigs. We'll talk about guinea pigs another time, Mr. Lee. We're out of time. So we'll have to do another time. Raptor says, I guess I got Lockbeard all worked up now. You did? No, I mean, it wasn't you that said that. 15 clears the arteries. Judy says, sometimes I feel we're in a giant bubble floating in water. Mr. Lee says that I did see an orb, though, just saying. So did my dog, and it had a face. Joe says, the Flintstones is not an actual documentary. Or a terrarium. Just Judy. So, yeah, who was it? I think it was... Surely when you guys remember, someone brought it up on Mokes, I think it was on Mokes, claiming that the mentions of dragons in the Bible were actually talking about dinosaurs. He wasn't being pushy about it or anything like that. But we got to stop with this stuff. We got to stop this stuff. We got to nip it in the bud before people start running with it too much. Of course, they've already ran with this to some extent. You know, you got the whole mud flood nonsense. That whole mud flood shit's bullshit. Again, they hit on occasionally they might hit on something that's an actual truth as far, but because of confirmation bias, they're taking that truth and then using it to support their idea of what things are over here, when in reality it's evidence for something else. Sometimes, you know, they're saying shit's evidence that for okay, well, you had to, like, say rapid, because, you know, you got this whole train of thought that all of the erosional features are slow, but in some cases, very rapid erosion takes place, right? And if you look into Randall Carlson stuff, you see Randall Carlson in the my intros, because he talks about, you know, where there has been great cataclysmic shit go down that would result in myths that pervade or that are in all of the religions around the world have this flood story, right? I hate to call it flood myth, because the fact is there was a massive worldwide cataclysmic flooding event. It wasn't like Christians believe. Christian believes the water, it rained and then everything just filled up with water and covered the mountains. That's not what actually happened. What actually happened is way closer to what Randall Carlson is trying to show people, and the result is like, yeah, you're going to have stories about a flood, but the people that survived it didn't necessarily understand how that shit happened. They didn't understand that giant, you know, rock or comet hit Greenland, and Hiawatha crater they discovered a crater. We know that there was an impact there about 13,000 years ago, and destroyed a massive technologically advanced human civilization that existed on Earth up until that point. Humans, it's very clear that there was a massive, massively successful civilization up until that point, and most of it got scoured away or flooded into the seas. The sea level rose about 400 feet, and so most humans, settlements are along um, shorelines, right? We gravitate towards the water, and of course, there's reasons why that is. Aquatic ape hypothesis. If you want to dive into that, we've talked about it before. We like the seashore, and so humans back then would have been the same. So if the sea level rose 400 feet, most of the civilization is under the sea, and although a lot of the remnants are, I mean, like what the hell, they lidar scan down there in Central America somewhere, I think. I can't remember where it was exactly. They lidar, and they'd surveyed this jungle down there. They didn't find shit, but when they lidar scanned the area, they found 60,000 stone structures. What the fuck? There was this. These people didn't chisel this shit with bronze tools, man, and especially the precise cuts. This is laser precision. They did not do this with hand tools. This is laser precision cuts. These people, there's just no other way to explain this. Either they had laser technology, or something that was able to achieve that precision, that level of precision. They also had anti-gravity. They had to. Absolutely had to. There's no way you can try all day to convince me, well, they floated some stones and they rolled some and they built ramps. No goddamn way. In some cases, yeah, your story might your story might fly, but there are some locations where none of that shit is even remotely possible. They had to have had the ability to counteract gravity, and that's perfectly possible. Perfectly, there's no reason to think that someone could not develop the ability to counteract gravity, to create anti-gravity fields. That's totally possible. Once you understand, and if you want to understand the science behind that, it's going to take you a little while to wrap your mind around it. You got to be willing to go down that rabbit hole, and that means you need to go over to Ken Wheeler's channel, because he covers all that shit. He covers all that shit. And in fact, he's got some videos there where he's got some simple little anti-gravity devices that cancel out a little bit, but it's not something you can really see. You kind of have to feel it with your hands, in your hand, because it isn't just floating, right? Operates off the right hand rule. But anyway, again, someone in the Ancient Aliens TV show made this point. Of course, they're talking about aliens shit. It wasn't aliens, it was humans. But the point still, that the guy made still um, applies to what I'm about to say. Is that they were building things out of the biggest fucking rocks they could. When we build shit, even though we might build a big structure, if we're building it out of blocks, we use small blocks. We put a bunch of small blocks together, because that's the easiest way for us to do it. We don't have anti-gravity tech. They, on the other hand, were building shit out of the biggest goddamn rocks possible. Now, why would you do that unless there was a reason that it was easier for you to do it that way? It's easier just to cut the one big block instead of having to cut it up into a bunch of little blocks and then stack them all and all that. So they didn't do that. They did what was easier for them. Cut one big fucking rock, make a precision cuts while you're at it, and then move the biggest goddamn rock you can. They had the ability to cancel out some gravity, at least to some extent. So that's again, you're gonna have to just go down the rabbit hole. I don't know what else to tell you. Go down the rabbit hole. Like, first you got to understand just how massive. Look, people have seen like some pictures of pyramids. Look, hundreds of pyramids around the world. Tons of megalithic stone structures around the world. I mean, this is a lot of goddamn stone. A lot of goddamn stone. A lot of goddamn really big stone, and a lot of very precise cuts. It all adds up to way too much shit. Way too much shit for like those guys that tried to mimic, oh well, we found these brass tools and we think they cut with brass, and then they were trying to cut this stone with a brass um saw, and then they end up putting some sand in the crack to abrade it, and then they got some water and put it in there, try to, and they got like millimeters in days or some shit like that. They weren't getting nowhere, and the reason is because that's not how those people cut those stones. That was the people that lived there later, after the cataclysm, after the major technologically advanced civilization collapsed. Those big stone structures were left there. Right. Those structures predate those people. It's like the Sphinx when Professor West, I think it was his name, because when he got there, when he was able to examine the Sphinx, he was like, no, no, this thing isn't as young as you guys claim it is. There's no way. It's carved out of this stone here, and this stone has erosional features that are 20,000 years worth of erosion. So there's a problem here. This thing is much older than what you claim it is. I used to smoke Winston, Fred, and Barney. Judy Earth. Retro says Judy Earth is a terrarium, but what do I know? Mr. Lee says mud flood bullocks. Yeah, those people are goddamn nuts, man. They're goddamn nuts. Like, oh, look at these tracks. These are human tracks. They're with the dinosaurs, except you'll have a dinosaur track, and then the next dinosaur track, the left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, and then you'll have a human track. Well, what they claim is a human track. But what it is it's just deformed. It's walking through mud. Your tracks don't always come out perfect, right? Sometimes they collapse in on themselves, and they can take all kinds of forms and shapes. And so, you have these human tracks that are part of the tracks, the track line of a dinosaur. But oh no, it's human. Shut the fuck up. Chessboard Raptor crazy is not the earth, it's spinning, it's my head. Randall Carlson, yeah, Randall Carlson channel. Just for the blessing to all, I have to run, get my winning lottery ticket. You go get that ticket, but Lockbeard's going to claim it. If the lottery commission knows what's good for them. By the beautiful sea. Satch says, Ken Ham says dinosaurs were on the ark. Good night, folks. I'm here all week. Make sure you try the veal, and tip your waitress. Yeah, Ken Ham is one of those guys. Ken Ham, and there's another guy named Ken. It sucks, there's a lot of bad Kims. Then you have Ken Wheeler over here, who can tell you how the universe actually functions. If you just take the time and to learn from Ken Wheeler, ignore all the tattoos, ignore he's the goofy behavior at times. Yeah, he's explaining how where he explains it. He explains it. He's not necessarily the best teacher, I guess. I mean, of course, what's the best teacher, right? Being able to convey things in such a way that your students can actually pick it up. But not every student picks up things in the same way. And he'll reference all the those that come before him and where he built upon, because he has built on their you have Heaviside and Steinmetz and Maxwell and Tesla and all these guys in the past that are long gone now, who contributed their part along the way. And then you have Ken Wheeler now, who has, it seems, properly explained magnetism, right? Because they haven't been able to do that. Mainstream science hasn't been able to do that. If you ask, so how does this fucking work? Oh, we actually don't really fucking know. And they don't. But Ken Wheeler does, and he explains it. And he's written, his book. I think he's working on the 4th edition now of The Missing Secrets of Magnetism. So, dive in and look at some of his articles. He addresses things like ghosts sometimes. He seems a little reluctant sometimes to address things like that, but he does go into it because people ask and they want to know. It's like, how do you explain this shit? And he's like, well, this is how you explain this shit. But it comes down to, really, because in the intro, you see I have that quote from Nikola Tesla, understanding the secrets of the universe is, you got to think in terms of energy and vibration and frequency. And you're there, really, you're there. And then you got to understand that the ether is real, right? There's a substrate upon which the entire reality is painted upon. There's a substrate there. The ancients called it the ether. Today, scientists just can't seem to let themselves believe that there's an ether there. They come up with bullshit like space-time and quantum foam and dark matter and all this bullshit, and pat themselves on the back and ask for another grant and say, hey, can we fire up the particle collider and we'll discover a new particle that explains some shit, which are never, they never do. They observe something, but they don't understand what they're actually observing. And then they're like, well, we're trying to achieve grand unifications, but they never do because they have created puzzle pieces that don't fit together because they're wrong. All these things are calling particles are not particles. Even electrons, not particles. Not particles. Photons, not particles. And they want to discover shit that, a particle that governs over time, a particle that governs over magnetism, a God particle, who went quarks and Higgs bosons and all kinds of crazy shit they're coming up with. They haven't discovered any of that shit. All right, they haven't proven any of those things are a particle, and they never will because they're not. But if you want to understand, you just it's going to take you time. To truly understand Sexy Ken, says Mr. Lee. Yeah. Donald says your subs have jumped up quite a bit, eh? Well, the from shorts, the short videos on this channel have helped bump those up, and I think I've been able to, through a little bit of osmosis, get a couple of subs over onto the main channel. But the shorts are the way to get subs, man. Some of this shit, like, you never know when one's gonna hit. Like, people love fucking that one where the guy's kind of grabbing at the goddamn groundhog, and the groundhog's like, "What the fuck you doing?" People love that video, man. They just comment and the views, there's tons of views, and the only problem with shorts is they're really short, so they don't add a lot of watch time. They add a number of views, but they don't have a lot of watch time, and you got to get up to 4,000 watch hours. Judy says, cool how everything was so decorated as only to be seen from above. Crystal poly rock mortar. Ken's channel. Gems and minerals added. Sometimes someone from Vermont won, I'm claiming it. Almost forgot something for you. Judy Wheeler from Donald, or Chessboard, I mean. See if the kids win. Can only dream. No, I made a short video that had stating that Lockbeard wins the lottery this Saturday. So I think that constitutes a magical spell. Everybody should go hit like on it. And then we'll go out there and discover Bigfoot. Dark Matter, says Mr. Lee. Cool show and chat. It actually doesn't hurt my brain like listening to Jar talk flurf nonsense. Well, yeah, man. Listening to flat earthers is going to give you a headache. It's not because it's deep material. It's because it's so goddamn shallow. It's so utterly ridiculous and devoid of any kind of real science whatsoever that it'll just make your head go numb. You're grateful your girlfriend's cleverer than you. You need to make it easy for you to clean the cage. So I don't know what kind of stuff they got on the market that you can buy. But my suggestion is, it depends on what you want. I mean, some people are like, well, I don't want to look at this thing. Look, if you can get you like the plastic tubs, but get one that's, yay deep, and then however big you want the cage to be. And then make yourself a custom cage that's sets on there. If you're handy enough to make something like that, and get 2 of those tubs though, the same tub. That way, when you're ready to clean this one out, you just take you put your new bedding in the other tub. You just pick your freaking guinea pig up and put him over there, and then take the cage top off and set it on the other tub, and then you can take the tub full of dirty bedding outside or wherever you're going to take it and dump it out. Just make it easier, and then you can hose it out and let it dry outside or whatever, and then meanwhile your guinea pig is already in the clean tub, which the clean tub, usually those are nested, right? They can sit one inside the other. So the 2 tubs, usually it'll be sitting there. You'll have the clean tub, and then you'll have the tub full of bedding sitting on top, and then your guinea pig's cage top. And then when it comes time to clean, you just pick up the dirty tub and cage out of the clean tub, set it beside it, put the new bedding in the clean tub, put the cage top over on the other one with the guinea pig, and then you can just take that tub, the dirty tub, outside, and if you're not able to get to it right now, you can clean it later. So it's good to have those 2 to make your own cage that you can do something like that. It just makes your life easier. But yeah, like, I don't recommend people get a guinea pig for a pet. But I was in that same situation as you, Mr. Lee. Had a girlfriend, and her teenage daughter wanted a guinea pig, or someone who was selling them or whatever, some shit like that. I can't remember exactly how it all went down. Anyway, they wanted the guinea pig. There was 2 of them, 2 guinea pigs, I think. And so we were getting guinea pigs. So in that case, what I did is I built a custom cage. It was wood and it was painted, and but looking back on it now, I would do it totally differently. But that was a pretty heavy duty cage, had a glass front on it, and wheels. So it was pretty cool, but it just wasn't ideal as far as being able to clean it and stuff like that. So better off 26 years. Why she put up with me, I had just no idea. Well, she's your wife. She's your wife, Mr. Lee. It's common law. Common law, man. Common law. Donald says, Mr. Lee, stay on top of cleaning it. I had friends that were lazy and would let the ferret cage go. I would end up cleaning it. It was disgusting. Yeah. Yeah. So, Mr. Lee, yeah, like, hopefully you understood what I was just saying. Like, if I described it well enough, and hopefully that'll fit your needs. Yeah. So I mean, you'll just need to go and get you, like, determine like how big a cage you want. And of course, guinea pig in the wild has a lot more room than people's typical cage. It's kind of sad that guinea pigs are kept in these little fucking cages. But anyway, get as big a tub as you think you can deal with, and you have a place to put. Probably about that deep is good. And then custom build the cage top that just sets on top of it. Get your spare tub exactly like the other one, and then it'll just make your life easier. It really will. Ginger one. Brandy. Where is Brandy here? I don't see Brandy. Is Brandy here? Rapper says, Mr. Lee, the best thing I did was just have two cages. One cage was clean, the other cage get dirty. I'd pick up the guinea pigs, put them in the clean cage, clean that one, vice versa. Yeah, I mean, it's basically, I mean, you could do it that way. I mean, it's the same deal. Like, because look, if you don't have the second cage, or in the case of what I just described, you just need the second tub bottom, right? You got a plastic tub for the bottom of the cage. And then, but you have two of these tubs. That way, when you're ready to clean, you just pick the guinea pig up, put him in the clean one. Your bedding's already in it. Put the cage top on top of the other tub. Take the other tub out. Because otherwise, if you don't have that, then someone's got to be holding that damn guinea pig or watching after it or whatever while you're rushing to clean the goddamn cage. And you don't need that shit. So either do it like this or the way I described, or if you can think of some other better option, whatever, maybe a smaller spare cage or some shit. But I think my option's the best one, but some people may not like it. Because if you pay for two cages, like Raptor's saying, well, you're probably going to pay more money. OCD so you can clean. She's lurking and hiding. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, why is Judy and Brandy getting hidden? I don't know. I haven't seen Brandy yet until right here. She says, take this wrench off me now, please. I fell asleep. Why do you want the wrench off? Yeah, it can be tough. Do you really? Judy says, Brandy, what's wrong? Brandy says, I accidentally blocked you from the channel, Judy. Fell asleep and blocked someone. Oh, shit. Of all the things, although, yeah, I mean, I've done it myself. I accidentally blocked someone. Like, I was just getting a little too clickety click with the at the 3 dots, and then before I knew, because I'm really trying to click show, but I accidentally get a little bit to the right, and I click the 3 dots, and then the damn thing don't show, and then I'm trying to click show, but I'm doing it too fast, so I end up clicking block user. Brandy is cool. Grandkids are running around the house. I see Judy don't have a wrench. Does Judy want a wrench? Oh, you just hid Judy. You didn't block her. You just hit her. You just hit her, Brandy. You don't have to be a moderator if you don't want to. I was just making everybody that I know moderators on this channel if they want. Yeah, Brandy gets clickety click when she falls asleep, I guess. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, please don't take wrench off Brandy. She doesn't mean it. She doesn't mean it. What do you mean she doesn't mean it? But this looks like she means it to me. What do you mean she doesn't mean it, Mr. Lee? She was abundantly clear right there. I don't know how they do things where you're at, Mr. Lee, but in America, no means no. Wrenches for everyone, Oprah Winfrey. Yeah, we're Oprah Winfrey in this. Did you see this shit? Oprah Winfrey, who was all buddy with Dr. Oz that whole time, but she's not going to vote for Dr. Oz. She's going to vote for Fetterman. Fetterman's about half brain dead up there. It sucks. It's sad, but he's gone. That dude ain't got much more. Like, he's not. No, if he's like this right now, it's just going to get worse as time goes on. But no, she said she's not going to vote for Dr. Oz. What a bitch. Don't want to be hiding people. Raptor says, I was watching Lockbeard's channel a month ago. He was alive. I woke up the next morning. I was watching Disney Plus. How the hell that happened? I have no clue. Yeah, you don't have a wrench. Do you want a wrench? Ashley says, Donald Oprah gets on my nerves, just saying. Brandy says, I'm fucking awake now. Awesome, Lockbeard. Awesome what? I don't understand. Do you want a wrench? I can give you a wrench. Boom. All right, so I don't know, how do you slay the dragon of the belief that dragons are dinosaurs in the Bible and that humans walked alongside dinosaurs? There's no evidence of that whatsoever. They try to pull some bullshit out of their hat every so often, but the reality is that that's just not true. It's a load of shit. And ridiculous crap like that needs to be put down. It needs to be destroyed because, look, humanity, if we're to advance as a species, we've got to get everybody on board with the advanced knowledge we have, right? And part of that advanced knowledge is that the Earth is not 6,000 years old, it's billions of years old. And while we may not have that number pinned down precisely, and it may not be possible to pin it down very precisely because it's so old, but we do know it's billions of years old. Once we can get everybody on board there, we can take bigger steps forward. It's hard to take steps forward with our understanding of things when you got half the population who wants to live with antiquated knowledge, antiquated ignorance. It's not even knowledge. It's like they didn't fucking know, but they act like they know, and they say this shit. This must be true because this. Well, it's not. It's not. So, the two pictures in the thumbnail, where are they from? What do y'all recognize the two pictures in the thumbnail? Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, the dragon existed. Brandy says, y'all have a good night, going back to sleep. Yeah, we'll be shutting her down pretty quick here. Pretty quick. Try and get this thumbnail on screen if I can. Thing don't want to cooperate though. Bam, there we go. I think a lot of people will get the one on the left, but almost no one will get the one on the right. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, it's a fact. Chessboard says, I'm back. Don't get a ticket. I have the winner. Well, too late. I already got the winner right here. Raptor says, have a good night to Brandy. Brandy, do you know what those pictures are from? You probably had the best chance of anybody of knowing what these pictures are from. Donald says, Chessboard, thanks for your donation to my 1.6 billion. Brandy says, sorry, Judy and Lockbeard. Chessboard says, Donald, you mean Uncle's 1.6 billion? Nothing to be sorry about. Brandy, don't go yet. You gotta know the picture on the left for sure. Surely you know at least that one. Oops, too close. Too close. Too close. There we go. Nobody knows. Looks like we're might be bogged down. Donald's got it. Donald's got it, looks like. Yep. That is from Dragon Slayer. They did pretty good with that movie back with the limits on special effects and stuff. But it's all in the title, really. It's all in the title. Yeah, it's from the movie Dragon Slayer. Pretty good. Pretty good for the time. Now, what about this? I bet nobody gets that one. Chessboard said, Locke is at the boys on January 6th. Oh, Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, it was very difficult to decipher Knucklehead. I mean, thumbnail, I will let Brandy win. You'll let Brandy win? What do you mean you'll let Brandy win? She done took off, I guess. Because I would have thought surely she would have guessed Dragon Slayer. But Donald got it. Donald got it. This one you have no idea? Yeah, I didn't think anyone would know this one. I mean, it'd be very unlikely. Should I give hints? Y'all probably googling your googling your ass off. Although this dragon doesn't get slayed. He is commonly referred to as the Gap Dragon because he lived in what they called the Gap Chasm, which is like a kind of like a canyon that goes across the land. Nobody can get from one side to the other without passing, crawling down through the Gap Chasm, and then they have to deal with the Gap Dragon, which the Gap Dragon is really, really big. This one's really, really small, because he's is that what happened to him? Got turned young, got like a youth potion or whatever that made him young. I'm trying to remember. It's been so long since I read it. I think I read it more than once too. Whole series of books. Anyway, the whole land, this whole magical land correlates. It's basically the same shape as Florida because it's like you go through this portal that will take you from Florida into kind of this alternate dimension. And this alternate dimension shaped like Florida, but it's full of all kinds of magic, crazy shit, and it is nuts. Brandy says it's a book. English folklore says Mr. Lee. Piers Anthony. Yep. Well, the first word is dragon, and the title is Dragon on a something. Chessport says Stanley the Steamer. Yeah. He never could breathe fire. All he could muster was to breathe out steam. He could steam your ass, but he couldn't produce fire. Yeah, Brandy knows. Anyway, the princess here, so you see the little girl? She got lost in the wilderness of Xanth. This is the Xanth series, spelled Xanth. And she got lost. And, well, you're a typical little girl. Yes, pedestal. It's called Dragon on a Pedestal. Anyway, your typical little human girl is going to be dead real quick and fast and in a fucking hurry. But this little girl has a magical ability where she can enhance anything she wants. If she looks at you and she decides that you are nice, you will become nice. Her magical ability will make you nice. And she basically did that to the dragon. She said she thought he was nice and all this stuff. And so he became nice. And so he ended up being her companion, lost in the wilderness of Xanth. So this dragon, who had previous people had to deal with getting past him without getting fucking eaten, suddenly becomes the hero of the story by the time you get to this particular book in the series. Raptor says, well, I hope everyone has a good weekend and be safe. Chessboard says, Brandy, go back to sleep. Give the old man a chance. Yeah, I knew she's going to get one of these. She probably, there's probably some Google magic going on. Brandy says, on my way, take care. Anyway, I think I might have read this book twice. I can't remember. I read some of the books in the series 3 times. Piers Anthony was my favorite author when I was a teenager. But anyway, so there was kind of a double meaning to the, different meaning to the title tonight. The dragons of the sleigh are these bad ideas that stand in the way of logical thought and reason, when we're trying to figure out what these paranormal phenomena are, what their true nature is. Um, we got people out there just hucksters, they're just hoaxers, they're hoodwinkers, and all this stuff has to be destroyed in order for us to get to the truth. People say, "Oh, why are you being doing this?" Look, because we have to tackle them. We have to. If we don't tackle them, they just run rampant. Every time we tackle them, one or two people figure it out that holy shit, they're right. These guys over here are hoaxers and liars, and they're just using us, and they're not actually trying to find the truth. So we have to tackle them. We have to take them down one by one. We got to do it. Mr. Lee says, "Chessboard, you old man, forgive me." All right, I think the regular channel should be um, out of suspension um, by Monday. So LOCKBEARD Phenomena will be on the normal channel next Saturday. I'm not sure about continuing the idea of live streaming to both channels. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not. So, and I've considered a possibility of going ahead and doing all the upload videos, the ones that are 10 to 25 minutes long, and going ahead and uploading all of those to this channel to try and boost up the numbers on this channel. But I don't know if that's a good idea. So I'll probably hold off on that. No, it's just not in the cards. I mean, I can get closer to that, and it again. That's why this whole thing's got to become profitable so that I can pull this shit off. I can't do it if it's not profitable. Sometimes I can get a lot of randoms in, and sometimes I can't. But it'll be a whole lot easier to make that happen. If we get monetized, and if we can get to a point where we can do the super chats thing, although super chats is YouTube takes a cut of that. It's better if donations come through PayPal. But of course not everybody's using PayPal. But it's all I got to really work with right now. Donald says you got to cool your jets before YouTube takes you down completely. Yeah, and that's another reason to even try not to do the random lives until at least one of the strikes has expired, which that will be December 10th. So a little over a month from now. don't want to do that, it'd be nice to at least do one random live a week along with the regular LOCKBEARD Phenomena every Saturday. But that's just not. It's just better to not do it and take the risk that they're going to get upset about something I did, and then also, again, the monetary considerations. Mr. Lee says chessboard used slightly anal, maybe. Just saying. What? Chessboard says, thanks, Lockbeard. Everyone have a wonderful weekend and blessings. Thank you, Chessboard. Take it easy. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Don't forget tomorrow night, Harryman Hoaxes and Hoodwinks and Squatch Dick TV. I mean, Squatch D. At 8 o'clock my time, 6 and 8 o'clock my time, the two shows, but which I think is midnight for Nikki's show. Midnight, it'll be midnight Mr. Lee's time, I think, and 2 a.m. Mr. Lee's time for Squatch DTV if he's on. Mr. Lee says chessboard have difficulties with society, brain stuff to offend. So sorry. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy dealing with people. Donald says, thank you, Locky. See you in the chats. See you, Donald. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next time.